Hello everyone, my name is Chandria. Welcome back to Chandria Carol Stitches. This is my YouTube channel where I mostly talk about cross stitch, also about my other crafty endeavors, and sometimes just what I've been up to. So it's been a while. There's just been so much going on lately that it has been really hard for me to want to get on here and talk about my hobbies and things like that when I just feel like it's so insignificant in the rest of the world right now, and just with everything that's been going on, I've just not felt mentally great lately. But I have decided that if I can provide a distraction for anyone for just a little bit while they want to hear about what I've been up to and the crafts I've been doing, then it's worth it. So here we are. So that's the short and sweet gist of why I've been gone so long, but we are going to carry on and try to think happy thoughts and stay positive for a little bit. I have worked on a lot of different projects. A lot of them are smalls, and that's just because I have needed the dopamine boost that comes with a finish. So I have really been focusing on the small wins, taking those where we can get them. So yeah, I have a lot of just a stack of smalls to go over as far as finishes. And then I have a few other, which you can kind of see my pile here, whips and a couple new starts that I haven't finished. And then we'll go into plans, and that'll be it for now. So let's start with the finishes. I have quite a few. Let's start with Bigfoot Big Stocking. This is by Lola Crow Cross Stitch. A few years ago, I'm not sure when, she did a cryptid Christmas sal with a set of I think 4 or 5 of these ornaments, all different cryptids. So this one's Bigfoot. I started this on December 31st of 2023. It was a New Year's Eve 12 by 12 start in 2023. I finished it on February 19th of 2025. It is stitched on 32 count black lugana, I think just by Zweigart. Yes. With all the called for DMCs. And I stitched 1,090 stitches on this in 2025 to finish it. Okay. Next is Penguin Snowflake by Daily Magic Stitch. This was a free stitch along that you could sign up for on her Instagram. I started this December 20th of 2024 and finished it on January 7th, 2025. This is stitched on 18 count Memories in the Rain, Aida by Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers, with all the called for DMCs. Next, and this was one of my January WIPGO calls that I completed. This is Puffin Party by Hands On Design. I started this on January 23rd of 2025 and finished it on February 1st. This is on 32 count Sea Spray Linen by Seraphim Fabrics. And this is part of a series called the Polar Plunge series by Hands On Design. I think there's 5 or 6 of them. And I have done, let's see, I did the polar bear, puffins, and the narwhal. So yeah, I've done 3 now. Yeah, super cute. I think I have been forgetting to tell you how many stitches, just in case anyone is interested. Let's see. Penguin Snowflake was a total of 1,940 stitches. 442 of those I did in 2025, the rest was in 2024. And then Puffin Party was 1,171 stitches, all of which I did in 2025. Okay. Next, I'm gonna fold it because this one's a twofer. This is Quirky Quaker Hedgehog by Darling Whimsy Designs. I started and finished this on January 14th. It was 515 stitches. It was stitched on a fabric without a name from Kaylee Tent Stitches shop, the sewingshop.ca. Let's see. This was a Cottage Garden Thread. It's not in my Notion anymore. It's either called like Wildwood or Darkwood or something. I will mention it down below because I can't for the life of me think of what it was. But I do know it was a Cottage Garden Thread. And yeah, that was it. So this, oh yeah, and this mystery fabric, it is a 14 count pretty obviously, which is nice because it made these tiny little Quakers a nice size. I got this as like a grab bag of these ornament cuts from the sewing shop. So next is Quirky Quaker Puffin, and this one was a WIPGO call for January, so I did complete my WIPGO. So I did an ornament edition copying Stephanie of Cross Stitch the Globe and Elizabeth at Savory Sewing, doing, I think Stephanie's doing entirely, actually I know, I think Stephanie is doing entirely the ornaments from the Jingle Ball Bauble books, and I think Elizabeth is doing the ones that she wanted to do from Stephanie's and then subbing in some just if she didn't want to do that one. And that's what I did as well. So this was one of the subs, was this Quirky Quaker Puffin. I'd had it forever and wanted to go ahead and do it. So this one, I started and finished on January 13th. It was 476 stitches, so super tiny. I stitched this with Berry Crunch floss from Color and Cotton. And I think that's all to say about it. So yeah. Super cute. And I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to finish these. I think just as like little round ornaments or something like that. I know a lot of people put these in like a journal, but I don't know. That is a problem for future me. And then, last but not least, in my stack of finishes is The Year of the Dragon by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. So I started this on February 18th, 2024, for Lunar New Year in 2024, which was the Year of the Dragon. And I finished it on January 18th, 2025. This is stitched on 32 count, lightly salted, not roasted linen by Stitch Me. It was 2,341 stitches. 1,199 of those, which I did in 2025. And yeah, I think that's it. Oh yeah, floss. So this was entirely DMC except for the variegated red, which is Cupid from Classic Colorworks, and the yellowy gold color, which is Curry from Weeks Dye Works. It's all they called for. So yeah, and yes, they're all small, but it still felt really good to get these out of my stash and stitched. I'll finish them at some point, but yeah, it was so nice. And I even ironed these before I got ready to finish them. Who am I? Okay, let's go ahead, let's do new starts, because a couple of them sort of just play off of those finishes. Okay, so let's start with the next in the Lunar New Year, well, Chinese Zodiac, Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery patterns. So this one is the Year of the Snake for 2025. So this one I do not want to let linger as long as I let the Year of the Dragon linger. So I started this February 2nd. The needleminder is by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery as well. I think it's Maria of a Needle runs through it, does their needleminders for them. This is stitched on 32 count Nightshade linen by Stitch Me. It uses the same red and yellow flosses as Year of the Dragon. Those are cohesive throughout them, and it uses a lot of the other same colors as well. I think that really the only colors that change are the animals' colors, but they're used in different places to, you know, give it a little interest. So the total stitch count is 2,387, and I have stitched 1,235 putting me at 51.7% complete. Okay, the next new start that goes along with one of the finishes is going to be a miniature sleigh and a jackalope. So I'll pop up a photo of that because I don't have a printout. This is by Lola Crow Cross Stitch. It's from that Cryptid Christmas stitch along from a few years ago. I started this on February 19th, 2025. It only has 1,004 stitches. It is stitched on that same 32 count black lugana from Zweigart as the other one. And I have stitched, I haven't updated it from what I have today. That's a very good question. If anyone really wants to know. But I'll probably have this done by the next time I talk to you, because this is a February Whip Go goal. I already had the Bigfoot big stocking started, so I wanted to finish that one before I started another one, but this one was the one that was called for February's Whip Go. So I think I'm like 80 something %. I just haven't updated it in Notion because I'm still working on it for today, but it'll be done. It uses the same color palette, a few different colors. There's a gold Krynic, and this needleminder is Adele the Penguin by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. Okay. The last new start, and the printout is really tiny, the photo project is, so anyway, I'll pop up a photo. This is called Haunted Christmas Post by a Haunted Frame Stitchery. Here is where I am, and I don't have a lot done. I started this on February 2nd of 2025. It has a total of 2,084 stitches. I have stitched 203, putting me at 9.7% complete. It is stitched on 32 count April Showers linen by Stitch Me. This needleminder is from a pin from Grave Markings that I turned into a needleminder. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that one. But that one actually leads me into one of my whips, so great segue. Okay, so this whip is, again, pop up a photo of the cover. This is called Haunted Hearts Mailbox by Haunted Frames Stitchery. They're part of a series, which is why it was a great segue. I'll pop up a photo of where I was last time. And I have done a little over 300 stitches or so since then. So here's where I am at. I started this on March 4th, 2024. The stitch count is 1,360, and I have stitched 670, putting me at 49.3%. It is stitched on a 32 count Abyss by Fabrics by Stephanie. think that's it. I just think these patterns are so cute. I love the ghosty Halloween aesthetic in the other holidays. It just makes me so happy. Okay. Next we have one that I'm close to finishing and I could not be more excited to be done with it. This is actually a gift for a coworker to give to their niece. I created this pattern just from it's from an animated show, a character in an animated show, so I just took like a white background screen capture, ran it through a pattern generator, cleaned it up to, you know, not have 50 colors and be ginormous. So this is just like a pattern for personal use, and it's close enough to being done now. I'm not going to show you a cover photo, so I'm just going to show you where I was last time. And then here is where I am now. So this is stitched on 18 count easy count Aida by Zweigart. It has a total of 2,953 stitches, and I have stitched 2,568, putting me at 87% complete. I literally just have to fill in the rest of this green hair here. The needleminder is called Oh Ginger Snap because it's a gingerbread person who has had a bite taken out of them. That is by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. I just love all the cute lore that goes along with all of their stuff. I think that's all there is to say about this one now. So I'm excited. You know, my coworker has seen me working on it at lunch. It's a really great lunch project because once I got the outlines done, it was really easy to just fill in, listen to a podcast, or watch YouTube, and stitch away. So she's seen it. It's not a surprise, but yeah, I don't know anything about. I did look it up because I was just, what on earth am I stitching? And apparently this little fella is male and a hedgehog and a nerd, from what I can gather. I think he likes to read, and yeah, it's alrighty then. Never would have guessed the hedgehog. Never. But yeah, it's coming along. It's almost done. It'll be great. And I can also then free up this project folder. This has been really great to just keep in my backpack. This is by the Quilt Junkie here on YouTube. And so the floss here, just, you know, my needle threader and scissors here. Got 2 pockets. So yeah, I've got everything in just one little spot, and stick in my backpack and go on to work. So it's been nice. Next. So this one's another frustrating one. Completely different reason, but still a little frustrating. So this is Castle Homecoming by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. I will show you where I was last time, which was pretty close to done. Spoiler, it's not done. Yeah, here is where it is now. So The new part is going to be from like here to here of this border. Actually, probably more like from here to here of this border. But this is part, I don't remember the part numbers, but I know that I have this part, which is the border, and then there's a sun and some clouds, something like that, on the inside bits here of the border, and then it's done. So a part and a half from being complete. But this border, it's just, the blue here, not so bad, but all of the little flowers and everything is just a few stitches of a color here and there, and it's just, I just haven't been in the mood. I really want to get this done, but I don't want to change between 30 colors and take forever to get 100 stitches in. So yeah, it's, I pulled this out for Allison of Cross Stitch the Globe's birthday, and the sow for that was a Princess Birthday sow. But I only got like 300 stitches because the border was so obnoxious. This needleminder is also by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. It came along with the stitch along kit that I got. This is the full kit. I started this on May 26th of 2023 with the stitch along. The total stitch count is 18,866 stitches, and I have stitched 16,008 stitches, putting me at 84.9% complete. This is stitched on, I think, 32 count Valor. I'm not sure if it's, yes, 32. 32 count Valor by Picture This Plus. It's stitched with all the called for DMCs, other than there are 2 classic colorworks. If anyone has any interest in stitching this, I probably would not bother with, I'm gonna try to get you a little close. I don't know if you can tell, but like this along the magic, the mane and tail of the unicorn, the magic here, that is all one of the classic colorworks. I don't remember the color name, but I actually fussy cut mine so that the colors would be more obvious and it wasn't just going to be half white, or you wouldn't be able to really tell the color at all. So I don't know, I would probably pick something that was more variegated to be worth it. I also I feel like at one point I sort of took instead of using 2 strands from the same like 6 strand piece of floss, I pulled one out and had it laying like one way, pulled another one out going the opposite way, so that the really variegated portion of the pink and blue mixed with the 0 variegated white, and so that at the very least you had a little something. And then that still wasn't really doing it for me, and it just looked mostly white, so that was where I ended up cutting most of the white off, so that it was just sort of a pale pastel, like pinky blue variegated. But yeah, it's that, I wouldn't really say that that one was worth it, but I would use the DMC for all of this, to be honest. Like, I love their colors, the color selection, but those fancy flosses just didn't really seem worth it if I was gonna start this now. So yeah, one last look. I have the frame ready to go for this, it's just so close to being done, and I just haven't felt like it. The progress is too slow. I have put in way more stitches on this stack of smalls than would be required to finish this. But for some reason this is more intimidating. But it is what it is. It will get done. Oh, and I guess I do have my flosses. Oops. Okay, it's not on the original. What a pain. I think I still have it. Okay. Pixie Dust. So it's Classic Colorworks Pixie Dust and Blacksmith Blue. And Pixie Dust is really, really pretty, but when you stitch with it, I didn't really feel like you got the bang for your buck. Pick up my scissors. Since they fell out, I will go ahead and show them to you. This scissor fob also came with this stitch along kit, and then yeah, I just had to put like iridescent scissors with it. Okay, just a couple more. So next we have Rivendell by Country Magic Stitch. I will show you where I was last time. Actually, the full name, correct name of this is Welcome to Rivendell, but I don't know, I just call it Rivendell. So here is where I am at. This I started on February 24th of 2023. It has a total of 22,528 stitches, and I have stitched 4,347, putting me at 19.3%. I'm stitching this on 25 count, easy count lugana by Zweigart, and I'm stitching it 2/1 10 stitch with all the called for DMCs. I think that's all there is to say. Oh, this needleminder, I did a stitch swap. So this was made for me from a pin by Aya Rosen. She also made the bag it's in. So I will have to keep a Lord of the Rings project in this forevermore. Yeah, I adore this. And I have, once I finish this one, which goes super, super fast, considering I did like 1,000 stitches since the last time you saw it in just a couple days. It goes really fast. This is the type of full coverage stitching that I can do because it's blocky. So if I'm in the mood for it, I can just zoom. It's only half cross, it's full blocks of color, and yeah, I can do that sort of full coverage, but the confetti heaven is just not for me. And then the last one that I have worked on, and I do have the cover photo for this one, is actually another full coverage. This is Stardew Valley Christmas by Glitch Stitch AU. I will pop up a photo of where it was last time. here is where we are now. So this one has 19,113 stitches. I have stitched 4,909 stitches, putting me at 25.7% complete. It's also stitched on 25 count, easy count by Zweigart, Lugana. It's stitched with all the call for DMCs. The needleminder is by Caterpillar Cross Stitch. I think that's it. This one I have to be in the mood for because this portion here is pretty confetti heavy. It looks really, really good. I mean, I understand it's worth it in full coverage projects to have that confetti. And this one is not as bad as what I feel like and have seen some other larger full coverage projects to be. I mean, there is still a pretty good chunk of each color, but it does look, it looks so good. But yeah, I just have to be in the mood for it. So I've been working on the confetti in the house, and then I'll take a break and come work on the big block stitching in the background. Once I get the house complete, I'll start on all the confetti in this tree here. I have all 4 seasons of this, and I would absolutely love to have all 4 of them done and you know, on the wall. Change them out seasonally. Okay. I have worked on a few more projects that I didn't show you just because I felt like I had plenty to talk about, and if I didn't do more than 300 stitches, it just didn't seem like you would really be able to see the difference, so it didn't seem worth talking about. I do have just some stitchy stats that I'll throw at you because it makes me happy to look at. This year I have been attempting to participate more in fandom stitching challenges. This year the fandoms are Doctor Who and Supernatural. So I started this 2 years ago in when it was Lord of the Rings, because I love Lord of the Rings, and that was what drew me in, and it worked really well. It really got me to pull out projects that I wouldn't pull out otherwise. Last year the fandom was Disney, and we're talking like old classic Disney all the way through just about everything they've ever done, and I just didn't care so much about the fandom. And you would think that wouldn't make too big of a difference, because the whole idea is, yes, there's like reading and watching points that you can get for the fandoms, but a lot of it is all just prompts of stitch on a project with so-and-so in it, and it's based on this reference from whatever the fandom is. So you can 1,000% participate and not give a crap about the fandoms. So, but I feel like the prompts don't make as much sense. And I don't know, I just couldn't get into it. And I also was meeting stitchy friends in real life, and being it was also my first full year of Flosstube last year. I wanted to start all the things, do all the things, participate in all the stitch-alongs, and yeah, I just didn't really participate. But this year I am trying. We went from 0 to like 50%, which it's still been good. I feel like I touched some projects that I wouldn't have pulled out otherwise, but we're gonna keep riding that as we can. I have been, because of that, I have been watching Supernatural and Doctor Who. I already knew, I loved Doctor Who, but I stopped watching very early in the Peter Capaldi era of the Doctor. So I haven't seen anything since then, but I have seen everything, and I didn't watch like classic Doctor, we watched new Doctor Who. So from what, the 9th Doctor to whatever number Peter Capaldi is. That's what I'd already seen and really, really enjoyed. So I was all for rewatching that. I have a friend who is very, like, a big Supernatural fan, and she has tried to get me in it before, and there's so many episodes. And it's also, I don't know, it's kind of cheesy in some ways. It's really emotional in other ways. There's romance for no point. Just, I don't know, it's kind of silly. But it's fun, and I've been enjoying it. This is a good reason to get me to watch it. I have needed all of the distractions possible, and I don't know, like, there was a really good chunk of time that I didn't even want to watch Flosstube, but I could sort of turn my brain off to, especially Supernatural. So, been watching those, which has been kind of fun. Plans. I don't know what tangent I just got off on. I guess it was kind of relevant, but we're gonna try to get back on the train, finish this off. Let's talk about plans. I want to keep up with WIPGO. I generally do pretty good in the first half of the year and then just completely fall off the rails. So at the very least, I'd like to continue that and stay on early on in the year. So January was complete. Those were the Quirky Quaker Puffin and the Puffin Party Polar Plunge by Hands on Design. Those were both done. If I hadn't at some point, I'll pop up my WIPGO board just so you can see. I have started the Miniature Sleigh and Jackalope Cryptid Christmas, which was one of February's. I have not started the other one, but that shouldn't be too big of a deal. I have that here. It's Snow Buddy by Satsuma Street. This is a full kit, so I don't have to pull anything. I do need to sort the floss onto a floss card just to keep it organized, but other than that, that one's all ready to go. It is the 25th today. I probably will finish it in early March, but I still think that it's not going to be that big of a deal to get that finished. The numbers for March were just called yesterday, I do believe. So my WIPGO board up. Those two that were called for me were Not All Were Sleeping by Lindy Stitches, and that is one from the Jingle Ball Bobble book. I don't remember which year, but I'll show you what that looks like. And then the other one is Let It Snow by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, and that was that was also from a Jingle Ball Bobble book, but that one was just from 2024. That was a brand new one. So I have fabric pulled already for Not All Were Sleeping. I don't have fabric for Let It Snow, and neither have the floss pulled. since I think it's just DMC. But yeah, that's, want to stay on top of that going into March. The other thing, and this ties back into when I was talking about the fandom stitching challenges, they do March Stitchy Madness, and that's not a new concept. I believe the Steel City Stitchers, I think, came up with that a few years ago, and essentially you make a bracket with your whips, and I think the first iteration of it was that the Steel City Stitchers came up with was to have a poll on your Instagram. You would work on both of them and then put up a poll, and the votes would be which one moved on to the next round in your bracket. But just to eliminate the social media aspect of that, what Fandom Stitching Challenges does is, however you have the number of projects, I think it's 16, in your bracket, and they're just assigned a day of the month. So March 1st you'll work on a project, March 2nd you'll work on a project. Whichever one gets the most stitches of those two will be the one that moves on in the next round on your bracket. But you keep going down, do the third, the fourth, the winner of that moves on, etc. And then you essentially have a project for most of the days of March. And I did it last year, and I got some really good progress in on lots of different projects, so that was fun. I think I haven't pulled projects or made my bracket for that yet, so you'll see next time what I've got. I'll probably just do a wrap-up video of wherever I'm at whenever I film again. I'm not going to make any promises on when that is, but hopefully it's not going to be as long. I think now that I've ripped the band-aid off and got back to filming, I think it'll be easier to come back. So yeah, hopefully not as long. What else plan-wise? I think that's really about it for plans. The only bit of haul that I figured I would talk about is I did purchase from, I think this was a Friday Night Fight Night actually, on Facebook from Be Stitch Me. I canceled my Fabric the Month club this year just because I have a lot of fabric, so I'm not getting it every month. I have one piece of fabric in 2 months now. But yeah, I did a Friday Night Fight Night. I don't have any fabric like this. This is my Sweetheart, and it is 32 count linen, what I would normally get anyway. And it's just a really pretty pink and purple, just a beautiful Valentine's Day color. Be Stitch Me is now, I've been in her Fabric of the Month for years, and early on you could only, you could order direct. You'd have to wait a long time since it was made to order. You could do the Fabric of the Month, and then you could do the Friday Night Fight Nights, and that was about the only way to get Brandy's fabric. Now there's a storefront. She has a physical storefront in Moline. I think that's how you say it. It's in northern Illinois. She has the Friday Night Fight Nights still, the made to order on the website, and then she even does ready to ship weekends right before holiday. Well, I would say maybe about a month before holiday, with fabric that would be really good colors for that upcoming holiday, which is brilliant. And if you are interested in any of those, since I never really did a lot of the Friday Night Five Nights because, I don't know, it's just kind of stressful. And yeah, no, it's just never really my jam. Those were on Facebook, where essentially she would post photos at a certain time, and whoever commented first got to buy it. And yeah, I could never remember to be on at the exact time, and then everything that I wanted would be gone, and yeah. So I really love the ready to ship weekends. So if you're interested in those, just sign up for her newsletter. She doesn't send out much too often, but when she does send out information, it's always really good. Like the ready to ship weekend, or right before a big sale, letting you know about the Nashville Needlework Market pre-orders that she has up. Just, actual things that you want to know. That's haul. That's it. So I want to go ahead and move into my reading, watching, playing. We already talked about watching. For reading, we're going to talk about the hot new topic that, the hot new book. I'm a little late to the party because I did a reread. Anyway, I'm going to talk about the book Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. It's book 3 of the Empyrean series. I have talked about the previous 2 as well that I've read. So it came out, mid-January, I think, mid to late January. I started at the beginning of the year a reread of the first 2. I did the audiobooks. I just did not have the wherewithal to physically read a book, so I did the audiobooks. Took forever because they're long, and I'm not the sort of person who can turn up the speed on those. Looking at you, Natasha, with your 3 times speed on your audiobooks, like a psycho. So yeah, it took a while. So I think everyone and their mother has already finished it. I finished it probably about a week ago now. Had some thoughts and feelings. Mainly good. I mean, clearly I'm on book 3. I've had a couple of complaints about just like the overall tone, I guess, of the main character is kind of like, she's in her, I think she starts out at 20, and in this one she's like 22 or something. I don't know. It's like she's early 20s. I guess it kind of tracks, but I don't know. Like, just the overall tone is a little young, especially considering the subject matter, and just the overall complaint that I have with the whole series is I just want more, like I don't care about the romance part. I'm here for the dragons. I'm here for the dragons and the fighting and the evil creatures you're fighting, and just give me all of that. So that's just been my complaint for the whole series. And in book 3, everything that was going on around the characters, fascinating. Like, there's all sorts of different locales compared to the previous 2 books, where they were mostly in 2 locations, but they're so similar, I guess, that you're not really excited about the setting, versus this one has a lot of different, more exotic locales, and that was really interesting. The story, the plot, everything going on, like I said, around the main characters is really interesting. But I don't know, man. Like, just you're the main female character is, and I don't want to spoil anything on any like all three of them, so I can't really say too much, but essentially she's supposed to be really intelligent and not physically powerful compared to this, like, the society that she's in, which is very physical. Like, you know, we're gonna cull the weak, and she's more brains than brawn, and that's what sets her apart. She's pretty dumb in this. She had her moments, and so that was just kind of upsetting. I still gave this like a solid 3 to 3.5 stars. Yeah, I mean, I still recommend it. It's a fun time. But I just want more. It has so much potential. It has such a good premise, and I just want more from it than what the author is giving me. And yeah, so I'm a little bit of a harsher critic. But I didn't really talk too much about it because I think really if you are a reader and you haven't heard of Onyx Storm, you're not going to care anyway, so we're not going to go too far into anything other than that little synopsis there. What else? Let me look at the rest of my reading list. Okay, so I want to talk about 2 more books, but I'll sort of talk about them together because they go together. These are really like middle grade fiction, I would say, or maybe young adult, but not what that means now and what that meant 20 years ago. So the main characters I think are around 13, something like that. This is a dystopian setting. The first book is called The City of Ember. I read this when I was, I don't know, like a teenager. I don't really remember what age, but I read this in my childhood, and I was fascinated. I loved it. In this book, you have a city, and it is very dark. I don't think it's really spoiling anything by saying that they're underground, because it's pretty obvious to you as the reader, but the characters in the book don't know that they're underground because that's all they've ever known. So they have an entire city which is completely self-sufficient. They have a storehouse where they get all the supplies that they need, but they reuse everything. They grow a lot of food as well. Yeah, I mean, they're just as self-sufficient as can be in this underground city, which is called Ember. And the story follows 2 children who just get out of, the school. I would say they're like middle school age, but that's where their schooling ends and they start a job. So they essentially draw jobs out of a hat, and that's where your first job is, and you get to go be useful in society now. They, one of the jobs that one of the main characters gets is working in the pipe works. So it keeps the water, they essentially repair water pipes, and the water from an underground river is what is actually powering the city in this really old falling apart generator, generating electricity from the churning water. So the main character, one of them, finds out about this, and like he realizes that something's going on. Like, we're starting to have blackouts more and more often. People are just starting to get a little scared, and I want to help. So he pokes around, and that's where he finds out about the generator and how it's falling apart, but no one understands it. It's too, he had thought that, you know, I'm really smart, I can help, I've always like been able to take things apart and rebuild them, I can help. And then it's just too much, like it's too complicated. And I really appreciated that too, because, and I mean, you can say that this kid is smart, and like I've known children who are able to take apart small appliances and figure out how they work, but if you're telling me that some kid is pulling apart a generator and can rebuild it, then yeah, I'm gonna be skeptic too. So he couldn't, and just the story of them figuring out what's going on in their city, what can we do, and then executing a plan to essentially escape this crumbling society underground. So that's book 1, and book 2, which I also read completely, like just back to back, is called The People of Sparks. So again, not really a spoiler, because if you just read the synopsis, you were going to realize that oopsie poopsie, they come out from their underground city at the end of the first one. That's not a surprise. The entirety of how they do it is going to be what you're reading for. So book 2, they find a civilization above ground. And I guess like the why. That's like the most important bit. This is dystopian trope 101. It's the why that you're interested in reading about. So anyway, number 2, they found a society above ground that they are attempting to integrate in, and there's pushback between the original citizens of the town and the new citizens that just came like from a completely different life. And it was so good. So the first one, obviously I'd read before. The second one, if I did read it, I don't remember it at all. So that one was really new to me. But it was so good. These were written for a younger audience, but I really like books like that because they're simple, but like they're like a good, refreshing read between more heavy, older, more like brain-intensive books, but that doesn't mean that they can't also be kind of deep. So I don't know, books like that, when I go back and reread things from my childhood, I feel like the authors wrote these things to appeal to children, but also to the parents who read books aloud to their kids or read them with their kids. So you can 100% still appreciate them. But the reason why this one was so good, in the first one, it's all about honestly like tenacity, bravery, going into the unknown. Those were sort of the things that I got out of that first one. But the second one, and I've mentioned this before when talking about books on my channel, sci-fi and fantasy as well, those genres are some of the best to be able to tackle heavy topics that are hard to talk about otherwise. So in this one, honestly, it's racism. The original citizens of the town of Sparks are like, they don't understand the complete culture difference of the Emberites, the people that came from the city of Ember, because their lives were nothing alike. They have completely different skill sets. So, but the people of Sparks thinks the Emberites are stupid, which of course the Emberites resent. And just the way that it's talked about, it doesn't, like, it doesn't hit you over the head with it, but it's really obvious, especially like as an adult. And it also builds. Like, it starts out, everything is so reasonable. Like, you see why they think certain ways, why, and you can see both sides too, because you have been following the Emberites. But then you identify more with the people of Sparks because they are more like our civilization. So you obviously identify with them a lot more. And it's just so good. And it's all about overcoming the fear of difference. People different from you. And in my opinion, that's what a lot of it is fear. So yeah, that's why I want to talk about those, even though, yeah, they are younger books. They're really good. But I think these would be really good for teenagers. I really think that, I mean, obviously, I am female and love these, but I think they would also, if you've got like maybe a stubborn boy who doesn't want to read much, I think this could be interesting enough to get them to read. And I think it covers, especially in the People of Sparks, covers the topic of racism in a really, really well done way. I think everyone could get something out of both of these, so I would recommend maybe reading them with your child. I think they're fascinating. So that's my little spiel. And then lastly, I want to talk about a video game that I played and finished since we have talked last. It's called Witchwood, and oh my gosh, this was so good. I didn't really want to play anything heavy. I haven't wanted to play anything heavy in a long time, so this does fit into the cozy game genre. There's not really any hunting, but there is some gathering. But you are a crotchety little old witch who has snarky comebacks to everything, and you wake up one day not remembering anything and meet a goat who essentially is the devil and says that you have made a deal with him for, I think, 12 different souls in exchange for this beautiful maiden who is laying, on a slab in this crypt, that the goat is saying, I will give you her soul in exchange for 12 others. Chop chop. So you have no idea what's going on, but you figure, all right, well, let's go investigate. And as you go on the first, it's broken into 4 different 3 sections of 4 souls each at a time to get your 12, and each one has a story. The gathering aspects are gathering ingredients for spells. You unlock these spells as you go along, and as you sort of figure out what you need as you learn the story. And each one is essentially just some piece of crap, like some stereotypical type, like an archetype of a person, and you're collecting their souls. So one of the first ones is a bear, and he is like a really aggressive, violent, warring general, and if he can't beat up the enemy, he's gonna beat up his own troops, because he just is the picture of aggression and gluttony when not fighting. So the stories are really well done. They're funny while also having like just the right amount of kind of sadness and humanity in each one of them. One of them is really, really heart-wrenching. There's one with pigs. But yeah, I feel like it's so ingenious. It's definitely unique and highly recommend. It's a little bit different of a play style, but it's still very low-key, very cozy, not stressful. So yeah, really, really love it. Really, really recommend. And I think that that's about all I've got for you today. Thank you for listening to my rambles and wanting to see what I've been up to and see what I've been working on. I appreciate everybody here so much. I have now passed 1 year on Flosstube, and I just recently hit over 500 subscribers, and I can't believe it. I appreciate you so much. And I know that the world's a lot right now, especially in the US, but I'm not saying that obviously a lot of other places are not going through their own turmoil and upheaval at the moment. But it's a lot, and I just hope everybody stays safe out there, and I hope you have people you can turn to give you just love and compassion and understanding, and we need to give that to each other as well. So my heart goes out to you, and I will talk to you next time, and hopefully just be in a better state of mind. Bye, guys.